All right, we have a new DC20 Foundry update, and I'm sure all of you would like to know what the heck has changed. I'll do my best to show you. I got my change list on my other monitor to go through the steps. The first thing I'm going to go is that you can change the color palette. Now, I know my friend Sean, who hates purple, would love to see this. I might not tell him. We'll figure it out. Computer configure settings in the DC20 RPG. It is in the right at the top there, open color palette. Now, right now he's got Patrick has two. There's the default ones, all the purples, and then he also has a darker mode, which is kind of interesting. A lot of people like that darker mode. But if you want to add your another one, see, I called it Whoa, but here I'll actually change it. So this is my colors that I'm adding. So this is my color setup, and then I can go in here and change all the purple to some like awful turquoise. I can make this worse. There we go. Worse than purple. Now, important thing to know is that oh, that's beautiful. I'll save this, update, save changes. Now, it doesn't happen right away. You do actually have to refresh. So we'll refresh. Most settings, when it requires a refresh, it does automatically. This one, it doesn't. So this reminder, you have to refresh. And now when I go, oh my God, that is terrible. This purple part can't really be changed. These are images, right? So that's not going to be changed in your color palette, but all the other changes, yeah, that is absolutely terrible. I love it. So I'm not going to keep that. So, oh, no, in the palette section, and you can change it, of course, to what you want, or you can even delete the whole thing and never talk about that color again. And again, you're going to need a refresh. And we're back to Grapple. So, great. The other setting that you saw in there is the extra one that's been added is the use AP stamina points and mana points outside of combat rules. So with that checked on, it defaults to off, by the way. So if you check it on, that means when you're not on combat, because I am not in combat, and I am Jareth, and make sure all my mana points are up. So if I am casting a Bless spell, let's say, which costs 2 actions and a mana point, and I'm going to pump 2 more for Grace. Of course, I can't do that. I'm level 2 mana, blah, blah, blah. The rules of multiple mana. I click it, it does not use my action points, and it reused 1 less mana point, because that would have been 3 mana, and it used 2 mana instead, because I am not in combat. So that worked great. And also, you notice too, when I cast Bless, it automatically put the concentration up. You'll also see down here is if you ignore concentration when you're casting. So that's new as well. Now that let's say I bless these guys. There we go. They're all blessed now. No, not because the only one I had targeted. I don't know. Anyway, if you do, the concentration does work as intended as well. I don't think this is new, but I still want to show you what it. Let's say I'm going to grab my bullet, and if I attack you, right now also they have 3 temporary hit points because they just did a long rest. So if it only hits, and this is working as intended, which is great. So I'm going to bite, and it's going to hit him for 4 piercing. Well, I'm going to show you instead. Let's say it's 1 piercing. It didn't do a concentration check. Why? Because he still have temporary hit points left, which is as intended. So if I do, 3 more, because that'll cut into his regular hit points. Now his concentration window will pop up. And then this, we'll get to this. I know I'm going all over the place, but this checks to see if there's any conditions that he needs to worry about. And then I can make my concentration check by clicking the button. And I succeeded. If I failed, I'm going to try that again. So I'm going to hit him. I'm going to give myself lots of advantages. Boom. So hit him real good. 6 points. And then I'm going to give myself a whole bunch of disadvantages to make sure to show you the fail, what happens. Concentration lost. It automatically removed the concentration. It didn't automatically remove the bless part that's attached to it, but that is something you'll have to remove. You'll also see this is new while I'm talking about it. These are the conditions that are on it. There's little toggle buttons, so you can toggle on and off the condition, or just delete it complete with a trash button. I know some of you from Pathfinder are going to right-click that to try to get rid of it. It doesn't work that way. You have to click the trash button. You'll also see when we're talking about conditions, why don't I just do that as well? Conditions have been truncated, which is amazing. They're still not in alphabetical order, like went out, but they are truncated. So it means like if you're dazed and you keep clicking left click dazed to give you more dazed, and then you can right click to get rid of the conditions as well. So exposed, hindered, or whatnot. If you right click, it goes away. They're also tied together. For example, if you click paralyze, it locks the other conditions on there of incapacitated, stunned, hindered, and so on. You can still activate it from the effects tab. So if I these are locked because of paralyzed, so that's why the lock is on it. So if I try to right click on incapacitated, it won't because it's locked because of paralyze. If I right click paralyze, then all those will go away. So that's really neat. I should probably go back to my list here. Added a roll request button. Okay. So you saw that concentration button that pops up. This bottom right hand corner here where the pair of dice are, that is if you're sending someone that you want them to roll something. So if I want Milo to roll, I'll click that button as the DM and I say, I want you to make an intelligence save, send roll request. Now, you don't see it because I'm not Milo's player, but on his side, he would have it popped up, much like that concentration check was that you just saw. For example, if let's say I put concentration back on, poor Jareth is getting his tar beat on him. I'll do the bite attack. It will hit for 4 points. She doesn't have 4 points, so let me just reduce it to 2. So bop up, the concentration comes up, and that's what the player will see to be able to roll the dice. And here you click on this to see if there's any conditions that you have to worry about. No modifications found. We'll get into more of that soon here. Then you can add your help dice if you had, or advantage, whatnot, and you roll. So let's, poor Jareth, I'm going to put him back here. I'm going to give him a full rest. By the way, full rest still does not add your prime modifier to 10 hit points. So that is something that you would have to adjust yourself. I'm going to remove concentration. We're going to get into a fight. Now, on last night, I ran this game. This is my Caves of Chaos game. And these players did actually fight a Boulette. It was in their cave, though. So I will go into the combat. It won't let you begin combat without having a DC first, so that's always nice. It did before. So I'm going to put my encounter DC in there. Players can roll initiative like normal. Click on their initiative and then click on the skill that they were using at the time, of course. You can use your attack check. I know that might be coming, so you can do that as well. Heck, you can do it with just a flat D20 roll. And Travik, who was, he knew this was coming. He has advantage on this initiative roll because, he knew this Boulette was coming. Put my Boulette there. I begin combat. Now, there's a lot of neat additions that Patrick has made for keeping track of things. It still listens to your commands, so it's not fully automated. Now, coming from experience I used to run D&D games that were fully automated, and when something happened out of the ordinary, it was a real pain to undo the stuff that the automations did. So, careful what you wish for. So, I am going to Hunter's Mark. This is what Milo always does anyway. Using his character sheet, I'm going to Hunter's Mark that. By the way, if you click with the right mouse button, see how the LMB, RMB tooltip is up there? That's for left mouse button, right mouse button. So right mouse button will see if there's any conditions or anything. No, there's nothing affecting the roll. I will put Hunter's Mark on, use my stamina and my action point as it's supposed to. Now my next attack, what do I have here? He doesn't have it equipped, so what does he have equipped? His Great Bow. Good enough. So I am going to attack with the Great Bow. No modifications. Again, we'll check. From now, the new update, you'll want to be doing this a lot, right-clicking on to see if there's any conditions. Because if there is, it'll automatically apply down in here. And you'll see these windows are a little bit different. There's advantage, disadvantage, and then this is if you're spending AP to get advantage. So I automatically get advantage because he's first Hunter's Mark. There's no condition Hunter's Mark, so it doesn't know that. So I'm going to put 1 in there for there, and that won't cost me AP. Then I'm going to put an expose on. And I'm going to give myself advantage, right? And that costs an action point. So when I do it, it removes the action points as it's supposed to. It hit him. And then also there's a physical save that he has to do. So I'll apply the damage just as normal. And then when I click the physical save, this is again the window that will pop up on the player's side when you request a roll. No modifications found. I will make my physical save. And I failed. Now, where else? Oh, here's something that's... I really like that he added this. See, there's a... I'll just do a full... Here, I'll switch to the Boulette. The Boulette is going to attack poor Jared. Now, I'm going to do just a regular bite. 20, of course. So when you hover over the attack check, you see the plus and the minus. Now, how often when you are playing and you attack and a player's like, oh, I was dodging because you forgot. Or, oh, you should have advantage because he was exposed or that kind of thing. This minus means you roll a disadvantage die. This plus is you roll the advantage die. So you don't actually have to redo the attack. Hit the minus. It'll do the reroll of a 1. Look at that. Now it's a miss, right? Because you had disadvantage and it missed. There's now the advantage button is gone because you can remove the last disadvantage die. But that one's still there. So if you, well, I had double disadvantage because of X, Y, Z reasons. And I roll that. And of course, it's still going to be a miss because that's the lowest one. But I can remove that last 13. Heck, I can remove... I'll keep that. So he missed instead. Right? No, I'll go select, refresh my select against Jareth. That would have still been a miss. So that's new. Also, you'll see now, if I make a second attack, because it's my turn, right? If it's not off your turn, it won't do the multiple check penalty, as you know, it's intended, because you don't have multiple check penalties off your turn unless you have a ready to action. But let's not go down that that rabbit hole. So now, when I try to make a second bite, if I right-click on here, it'll say disadvantage 1, because from the multiple check penalty, and it automatically put that check in there. So that part's in there. So now, if I want to put a bite in with a advantage to do that, I can spend the AP to get advantage, and then it'll roll. It'll remove the extra 1 and work as intended. Moving, of course, does not remove the AP, and I don't even know what software would, I don't even know how Patrick would ever be able to do that, to be honest. So if you're moving, you do have to spend it as expected, right? Just by using that button. One important note, you'll see on the character sheets here, they have -1, +1, regain all, because I know a lot of you guys have spent a couple action points and then made a mistake. And, then you kind of have to do it for free a lot of the time with a pig to redo the roll or whatever. But here you can just give them back individually, which you couldn't before, right? But for NPCs, it's actually not on there. And the regain all only just regains 1 at this one time. Obviously, a little bug that will be fixed in the future. Heck, by the time you're probably even listening to this, it might have been fixed. Who knows? But if it's not, that's there. In your abilities here, your different things that you can do with your skills. Hope everyone knew that that was there, by the way. It does actually add, like, there's more effects to it now, which is really nice. For example, if I want to do a full dodge, if I click this, I will use up to 2 actions and give myself the full dodge condition. Well, it's not a condition, but it's an effect. So that means when it's Travik's turn and he moves up, he is going to attack that bullet with my short sword. Again, it won't automatically put all this stuff in there, and it shouldn't. It doesn't know what you're going to attack with. And if you did it all automatically, again, I'll tell you, you don't want that. You want control over your automations. So now if I right click on that, it'll say, well, you have disadvantage because of the full dodge, and automatically put it in there for you. So I'll attack with disadvantage because of the dodge. And then the player's like, well, no, really, I should have had advantage because of X, Y, Z reasons. So I'll remove that disadvantage instead. And it was still a 10. I don't remember how that worked. Anyway. And also you'll see that dodge will stay in effect until it is the bullet's turn, and then it removes the dodge. Of note, it doesn't understand how many times it's been attacked, though. So if the bullet does just a regular dodge, it won't, if I go back to Travik and I get the disadvantage from the dodge and make my attack, it doesn't know that that was the first attack, so it doesn't remove the dodge. So just be aware of that. So next round, oh, it didn't work that way. There we go. So those are all nice little effects that are in there. Disengage, exact same way. So if I use it, I disengage, it puts it on there. So then I'm going to be moving away from Travik. Travik is going to make an attack of opportunity. I right click, it says disadvantage from the disengage. It automatically puts in there. I'm going to put a point in for advantage and attack. And yeah, there you go. What else have we got here? There's a lot of things in here that's been added, which is really nice. I do like the new tooltips that he's been putting up on it. For example, the spells. It says now that that's a destruction spell. And in fact, if I'm in edit mode, okay. So if I'm on the wrong screen though for editing. So if I edit the sacred bolt in configuration, you see that it has the magic school destruction. It also has all the different schools in there, which it didn't before. You had to know what the schools were, and so this will be interesting when I make new spells, make my own homebrew spell, which I haven't hit yet, but that will actually be extremely handy, and then it shows it up on there as well. There's that hasn't changed. The usage really hasn't changed. Enhancements have changed a bit. I haven't. So there's a little bit more flavor in here that I haven't dug too deep into. That's getting a little bit too complicated for a video like this. But there are more options in here that you can play with. Maybe I'll make a video later about all these different options once I play with them a little bit more. But there are more options here in the enhanced part. And also the advanced part as well. Again, look at the conditional formulas and so on. This is more effects that you can do, which is nice. Also, when it comes to effects, by the way, your let's see, configuration, clothing, but your active effects are in here now. This is a new window, which again I haven't really played with. It looks powerful, but I haven't played with it yet. Again, I might do a new video. But in the effects now, when you add an effect, look at all the different choices now. You're not going through all that list I made or going through the JSON file of players to be able to find what you're looking for. So there's lots and lots of choices that you can do for your active effects that are easier to use. And if you're actually searching for something like I want something to do with stealth, I can sort of start typing stealth in there and it went to where I wanted. There was the stealth check bonus and I add one to that effect. This checkbox next to it is if you're going to manually put in a key, because there very well be, as for example, I was using stealth, and there is only the stealth check bonus. There's no advantage on stealth or whatever. So if I wanted to do that and I knew what database field is, I would put it in here and put, you know, the stealth. I can't even remember what it is. I'm guessing at this point. I would have to look it up and then override 1 or something. Oh, I deleted it. Anyway. Also, one thing that I was really excited about when I saw this was that it took your existing ones and put it in there as well. For example, I've been making a lot of subclasses. In fact, I should be making subclasses right now for my players, as they'll need them next week or the week after, and I haven't finished them yet. But I'll go into the rogue thief that I've made, and he has in fast hands, you gain mastery in trickery and lockpicking. So if I go into the actual fast hands and go in the effects, he automatically changed it. See, it automatically went to, I mean, I had this, and then it automatically changed to what Patrick put in there, which is great. It didn't have for the adding the mastery, it didn't have that in the in this drop down, so it didn't change that, but it didn't erase it or nothing like that either, which is really nice. So that's quite a nice handy thing that he did there. Makes it a lot easier when you're adding your different effects. So again, I do want to go over that it really does do a fair amount of the automation for you if you let it. Again, you will have to right click on it. For example, he is now exposed but disengaged, and he has disadvantage on attack checks. So if it's Travik's turn, and I want to do a Sacred Bolt, it doesn't know, again, the spacing it doesn't understand. It won't automatically know that you have flanking if you do. It won't automatically know that you're doing a ranged attack when there's an enemy within a space, right? So if I right-click that, it knows that gets disadvantage from the disengaged, but advantage from the exposed, but it doesn't know about the disadvantage from using a range attack when there's an enemy within space. So I would have to actually add a distraction to that. So, you know, hit the arrow and again, I don't know how he could do that within spaces and so on, especially since there are players like me who hate grids, and so I don't even have it on a grid. So how to do that with flanking and within space and so on, I don't know how it could possibly be done. Multiple attack penalty. I think I already covered that. Pretty sure I did, because now if I do a Sacred Bolt again, it'll say, "Oops, I just rolled the roll." Oh, look, that's something I forgot to show you. I rolled a 1. That means I'm exposed. It automatically put that on there. Showed it to you as a mistake. That's fantastic, but it did automatically put the exposed on when I rolled a 1, which is really interesting. So I right-click, and it says, now the bullet exposed, disengage, but multiple check penalty. So it knows that there's a multiple check penalty. Also, it understands that a short sword shouldn't have a multiple check penalty. Oh, it did. I wonder why. Did I roll attack with a sword earlier in this? I probably did. So if I go back, let me try this again. I went through again. Travik will make a... well, those are still in there. Can it be cleared? Okay, if I right-click, it'll go to whatever it was supposed to be. Is exposed. All right, I'll make my attack. And now, because this is a new turn, my Sacred Bolt should not have a multiple check penalty. It does not. It still has the 1 from exposed. So I can make the attack. And then if I'm going back to my weapon and, oops, that's fine. And right-click, it'll say multiple check penalty because it did it for the skills, or I mean for the attack check. So it works as intended. And then I didn't actually roll, so there's my attack. And then on here, I don't think it does multiple skill check penalty. Let's find out. Let's go back to Travis, do another round. So his attack, his action points are done. So if I'm going to try to do a grapple, I will target him. I will right click, again, no modifications, okay. I'll do the check. And then I will try again, because I'm sure 7, he's going to have to make his physical, martial check. I'll right click, no modifications found. I will click. I get better, the grapple failed. So then back on Travic, he is supposed to try to do it again. If I right click, look at that, it did. Wow, Patrick, you're amazing. So here is a skill level because this is the second time he's doing a skill check. And it automatically look at that, it automatically put the disadvantage in the roll menu. So now when I click on the grapple, it'll automatically roll. So a lot of changes. A lot of quality of life improvement in here for sure that I really appreciate. And yeah, I hope these changes help you. And thanks for watching.